Welcome to the castle, everybody. This is Nightsaber Z42, and this is part 10 of 8 Petals Argent, an adventure where we got to basically go down into a tomb. We've had a lot of different drama happening with our characters, and it looks like we're going into another dungeon delve, although I think this is going to be a fairly quick one. So without further ado, let's get to it. Previously, the agent tells Rufio and Monterey of a new scavenger hunt, one that takes them to a Temple of Gondar. Being the brave adventurer that he is, Monterey heads there with Latchboy. His skills will surely be invaluable. When they get to the site, Monterey is invited inside by two gnomes he previously traveled with. Using this opportunity, he secures a way back inside when things are quiet. A couple hours pass and Monterey, along with Latchboy, re-enter the temple, but are met with a clockwork automaton guard. So we are fighting this Gonsman, and it says dilapidated, by the way, a medium construct. So we are actually in combat. We start 15 feet away from it. So I'm going to roll initiative for Monterey, for Latchboy, and then the Gonsman, like I normally do. So here's for Monterey. We have ourselves a 21. So we rolled a 19. That's actually really good. For Latchboy, he has a +3 in dexterity. So we'll go ahead and roll that. He rolled a 12. And our automaton has a +0. So we'll roll that as well. So he got 14. So initiative will go to Monterey, then the automaton, and then Latchboy. So we are going to get started with combat. Yay! Love combat first thing in the morning. So first thing that we are actually going to do, we are going to, well, Monterey is going to take a good long look at the automaton, and he's actually going to pull out, or he's going to remember about the adamantine dagger that he has. This thing looks fairly sturdy. I mean, it's made out of metal, so it only makes sense that the adamantine dagger should actually help out in this endeavor. So that is what he will do. He will actually take out the adamantine dagger, and he is going to, well, actually, let's see, does he want to rage? I think we will go ahead and rage. So when he rages, we have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. When you make a melee weapon attack using strength, you gain a bonus to the damage roll that increases as you gain levels as Barbarian, which I believe is 2. So it's 2. We get an extra 2 damage. We also have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, and it's going to last for 1 minute. So Monterey is going to start pumping himself up while he pulls out the adamantine dagger, and he's just basically gonna rush right on in. So he will move the full 15 feet, and he is going to try to stab at it with his adamantine dagger. Now, the thing is, let's see. The construct does have some damage resistance. It has resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks not made with adamantine weapons. So we do get around that resistance. So that's actually really good. So let's go ahead and roll for our damage. Oof! That is actually really bad. We rolled a natural 1. But our first attack of the day, and we rolled a natural 1. So Monterey, as he rushes in there, is going to kind of stumble, and it actually loosens his grip on the dagger. So when he actually tries to stab at it, it just kind of like bounces off and it goes across the room. We'll say that it goes backwards. Oh boy, that's not good. Alright, so it is the construct's turn. The construct is actually going to try to grapple Monterey. It gets a +4, and we will oppose it with our athletics. So let me roll for the construct first, giving it that +4, which is actually pretty bad. Rolled a 17, and we have advantage though because we're making a strength check, and we actually rolled a 17, and I believe defenders always win, right? Or is it that player characters always win in ties? I can never remember. Fortunately, we are not grappled this time, and the automaton is just going to stay there. The dagger has flown backwards from where Monterey was, over towards Latchboy. I think this is going to be an instance where Latchboy is going to look at the dagger. He's going to know that there's something interesting about it, and he's going to pick it up because he is a thief type character, so it only makes sense that he's going to use some sort of a dagger. Yeah, he's actually got daggers of his own, so this one actually looks better than any of the daggers that he owns, so he'll pick it up, and he's actually going to rush in there to help out Monterey. Now, the cool thing is Latchboy has side cut, so Latchboy has advantage on attack rolls against a creature if you are within 5 feet of the creature and you are incapacitated. So he's basically going to stand right next to Monterey, and they're going to go shoulder to shoulder, and he's going to try to attack. And he's going to get +5 to hit, which is really good. He rolled a 12, which is not enough. Actually, hold on. I didn't even roll with advantage. So he rolled a natural 20. That's 25. I'm glad that I remembered that at the last moment, even though I just read it. So he rolled a crit. He is going to roll 2d4 plus 3 damage, and that will be 8 points of damage, putting the construct at 9 left. So a really good attack from the very get-go, and that will actually put us at the top of the order. Huh, thanks, Latchboy, but let me show you how a real warrior does it. And he pulls out, Monterey will pull out his great axe, and he's going to try to swipe at the construct with his rage powers. Monterey is just not having a really good day because he rolled another 1, a natural 1. So he pulls out his great axe and he swings it. Luckily, Latchboy ducks as he swings wild, and the blade of the great axe kind of brushes against the automaton, but it doesn't connect enough to basically stop the momentum of the swing. And so he does like this full 360 circle with his great axe, and it just like flings it across the room. So he's lost his adamantine dagger and he's lost his great axe. This is not looking so good for Monterey. It will be the automaton's turn. The automaton will try to grapple Monterey again. It rolled a 23 this time. That's not too good. And Monterey rolled a 15. So it is now grappled with Monterey. So for rules with grappling, by the way, if you don't know, a grappled creature's speed becomes 0 and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. The condition ends if the grappler becomes incapacitated or an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach or of the grappler or grappling effect. Basically, every turn Monterey can choose to use his action to get out of grappling by either making athletics or acrobatics to get out. So that's not too good, especially since the automaton can attack him while he's grappled. And I believe he does get advantages towards those attacks as well. So Monterey's not in a very good position. On the other hand, Latchboy still has his adamantine dagger. And Latchboy is going to try to attack with advantage at the automaton. And he succeeds with a 19. So we will roll our 1d4 plus 3. And we rolled a 4. That means he rolled a 1 on his d4. So take 4 more points off, and the automaton is at 5 hit points left. Oh, we're not in a pretty good spot. I mean, the construct will get to attack, probably. Speaking of which, that is it for Latchboy's turn. He's just going to try to pry the automaton off of Monterey. Not to any effect just quite yet, but he is whittling the automaton down. Monterey, in the meantime, is going to try to break free with an athletics check. The automaton will hang on to Monterey, and that is his action. And speaking of which, the automaton is going to do a slam attack against Monterey. So he gets a +4 to hit. 23 will hit Monterey, and he'll deal 1d6 plus 2 damage. But Monterey does have damage resistance, so the 7 points of damage is reduced to 3, which is good, because we're at 16 now. Latchboy, of course, will try to reduce the construct even further, hopefully prying it off of Monterey, and will hit with an 18, dealing 7 points of damage. That will be enough to bring the automaton down. So it basically just goes into a fit of sparks. The automaton clatters to the floor, dust erupting from the resonating impact. Its mangled arm tries to resume waving, but that grinds to a halt a few seconds later. All signs of life in the machine now extinguished.
Latchboy, can you, hoist this thing off of me?
Because the automaton probably went forward and crushed Monterey. And so, after they lift the construct off of Monterey, they are, well, I think Monterey is going to let Latchboy keep the adamantine dagger for now, and they are going to resume. You are in a short east-west passage illuminated by some brightly glowing ceiling stones. At the western end, the passage widens into a 20 by 20 foot entry room with a large alcove farther west and double doors to the south. The wreckage of an automaton lies here, a puddle of grimy fluid growing beneath it on the floor. The dust here is thick and gritty, the accumulation of a century. You can feel it with each step, making the ground slippery to walk on. The dust also reveals 2 sets of unfamiliar tracks moving from the south to the east, a sign that others came through here recently. On the south side of that room is a set of familiar double doors. These lead to the stairway back to the embassy's ground floor. Not yet having found the objects of your mission, you decide to ignore the double doors, looking at eastward option. The passage eastward goes 30 feet before turning to the north. At the turn, there is a doorway on the east wall. So here we are going to start keeping track of our directions again. Unfortunately, I already forgot where we came from. So we can either go north, or we can inspect the doorway. I don't think we're going to inspect the doorway. I think it's just better to head on north because we are on a pretty tight time crunch here. So we will go north. The short passage north leads toward a room with some rubble on the floor. The passageway itself is taller than the one leading back toward the basement entrance, with a rounded ceiling. Walking through this area will cause you to pass over several stripes of brassy metal that cross the floor. Decorative patterns carved into the stone walls contain various sets of writing composed with draconic script. A pair of recent footprints, not your own, mar the dust in the floor here, having gone from the south to the north. Unfortunately, we do not know Gnomish, so we can't read anything here. We are going to continue through the northern passage. We could expect a doorway again, but I don't think that's really necessary. I think that's just a time waster. As you cross the brassy stripes on the ground, a green light floods the hall. Uh-oh. Unless you or a companion possesses a security insignia, make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw for yourself and another one for your companion. Success avoids the magic. Uh-oh. Alright, let's make our dexterity check. We got 16 with Monterey, and Latchboy has +5 for his dex, which, wow, man. Wish I could have rolls like that, or bonuses like that. And of course, Latchboy is going to be the one that doesn't succeed. He Achieved an 8. A failure limns the affected creature in green light, like a fairy fire spell. An affected creature sheds dim green light in a 10-foot radius. Any attack roll against an affected creature has advantage if the attacker can see it, and the affected creature or object can't benefit from being invisible. This effect persists until you check the next box off your Sail with the Tide event code, or until you or your companion pick up an security insignia. Oh boy. So Latchboy is going to be walking around with a green light above his head. Huh. This 30 by 40 foot room has rubble covering half the floor. Part of the ceiling has crumbled and fallen, and pebbles and dust still fall from it in occasional trickles. The room has a set of heavy double doors to the north and another set to the west. These wood-carved doors have ornate patterns of metal filigree crisscrossing them. Now, the wood has swollen with age, bulging from between the metal bars like bloated wineskins trapped inside flattened bird cages. Rough scrape marks indicate where someone recently used a tool of some kind to twist off both door latches. A heavy curtain woven of metal fibers conceals an eastern passageway behind it, and an open passageway leads to the south. Footprints in the dust here show 2 recent intruders entering from the southern passage, moving through the western doors, and then returning to proceed through the northern doors. When you entered the room, a spectral figure appeared in the northwest corner, standing between the 2 sets of doors. The image of a well-groomed gnome in a pinstriped robe, sparkling in shades of blue and silver, spoke in a thick, melodic language that went on for a long time. When he finished, the gnome bowed and faded to nothing. You recognized the words as gnomish, or some dialect of that language. Now the illusion is reappearing, repeating the speech before bowing and disappearing once more. This cycle repeats every few minutes, so we don't understand gnomish. Does Latchboy by any chance? No, he knows Common and Thieves' Cant. Fortunately, Belle could actually interpret that for us. So we can either go north, west, east, or south. I believe we came from the south. So, yeah. I don't think we're going to do that. We could continue to go north. Actually, why don't we pass through the curtain first? Let's go through the curtain. The large hallway here leads east, where it intersects with another hallway coming from the same direction. Where the passages intersect, there is an alcove. The ceiling continues to glow with a warm, bright light. Heavy dust coats the floor. We don't have the event code Empty Corner. The western passage at the north end of the area leads to a heavy curtain. The western passage at the south end of the area leads to a doorway. Along the curving hallway in the south end of the area, about halfway down, there is a southeast-facing wooden door standing slightly ajar. A fearsome-looking automaton stands in the alcove where the 2 passages come together. Uh-oh. We do not possess a security insignia, so it looks like we are going to have some combat here. You are in the basement beneath the Lantanese embassy in an odd intersection of hallways. From its alcove, an ancient guardian automaton leaps forward to attack you. So, just like last time, this automaton it basically has the same resistances and tactics. So we will go ahead and do initiative for Monterey, Latchboy, and then the automaton. So Monterey has 8, not so good. Latchboy rolls a 5, also not good. And the automaton rolls a 2. Okay, so Monterey followed by Latchboy followed by automaton. Wow, these rolls are actually really bad today. But hey, I am actually quite glad. Monterey is going to... I don't think we're going to rage this time. We're just going to go up and try to attack it. With our great axe, of course, which we would have picked up after our last fight. And so he is going to basically just try to slash at it. With a crit, look at that. With 18 points of damage, which is reduced to 9 points because of the resistance that this creature or this construct has. That actually brings it down to 3 HP. This one has less HP than the other one, so wow. Latchboy, you better bring it home, bro. He is going to roll with the adamantine dagger with advantage because he's going right up next to Monterey. I'm pretty sure that 23 will hit. And so he's going to deal, well, he's actually going to destroy the automaton, but he actually rolled the max damage, which is 7. So yeah, the automaton is destroyed yet again. All right, so we have the event empty corner, the western passage. Yeah, I think we've already, well, we haven't read this one. But it's the same thing. The wreckage of an automaton lies here, and the dust on the floor shows the marks of your recent battle with the creature. So we came in from the east, so going from the north end would bring us back. So we actually want to, let's go ahead and check out the open doorway first, because there's a wooden doorway to the southeast. It's unlocked. You are in a 30 by 30 foot room lit brightly with warm light emitted by stones in the ceiling. A trio of iron bunk beds line the wall in the southeast, each with a hardwood chest at its foot. A set of practice dummies made of brittle straw, now coated in dust, stand sentry against the south wall. This room has 3 doorways, north, west, and northwest. So we came from the southeast, so going northwest would take us back to the where we just came from. Let us inspect the door to the west. We're gonna forego going to the northwest because that's just gonna bring us back to where we came from. And I don't want to inspect the chests because we are actually looking for something very specific. This iron door is slightly convex in shape, pushing out of its frame toward you. Around the frame, black marks scar the walls as though some partly contained explosive escaped past this heavy door. The door's latching mechanism, no longer aligned with the door frame, is of no help to you. A tug on the handle reveals that the door's tortured shape has jammed in its place. Only great strength will prevail here. Unfortunately, we do not have a strength of 16 plus, or at least without our rage. The cool thing is, we do have a crowbar, so we will go ahead and use that to rip the door out of its frame. Once a small room with weapon racks on the walls, this 10-foot wide chamber dead ends in a wall of rubble. The scarring on the walls indicate that a potent explosive force brought down the ceiling. Old wooden splinters and several iron rings cover the floor. These look like they once belonged to some small casks, perhaps storing explosive smoke powder. A pair of broken pistols and a trio of bent muskets are here, their barrels all shattered as if they burst from within. A set of parchment sheets scattered about illustrate a baffling firearm schematic, something you think Bell might be interested in, but you find nothing else useful. We will definitely take that firearm schematic. So we're back in the 30 by 30 foot room. We will inspect the north door this time around. You examine the iron door in the northern doorway. It is sturdier than the door you passed to get into this room, implying a higher level of security. You've seen a lot of doors with a similar design quite recently, in the deep catacombs beneath the House of the Homeless. We have not opened this before, and we do not have the embassy key. Could have Latchboy lockpick it. So if we have thieves' tools, determine your check result by assuming you will eventually roll a 20, then add applicable bonuses. If the lock is not beyond your ability, you can bypass this door. So, okay. With our lockpicking, we have a +5. Yeah, assuming that we're using sleight of hand, we get a +5. So we can definitely reach above. Yeah, we can get above 23, which is the DC for this one. So, yay, we can bypass it. The area appears to have been an office of some kind, equipped with a hardwood desk, a now broken chair, some shelves, and the remains of writing materials. Dim light from the barracks to the south spills into this room. A search of the desk reveals a broken oil lamp and a few other items of interest. You can take any of the following items that you haven't previously removed from this location. A small bottle of ink, 3 ink pens, a flask of oil, and a pristine hat made of blue felt with a feather in the band. Oh yeah, Monterey's gonna take that. In fact, he's gonna be wearing it. Beneath the felt hat, a brittle envelope contains a letter written in common and stamped with an official-looking seal. Sergeant Yaris, here is the device you requested. I hope you find it stylish, for there are no more currently available to us. To use it, simply place the device on your head. The magic of the hat will work without needing a code word or any other method of activation. I have no idea what the Home Office was thinking by supplying a guard sergeant who can't speak Lantana, but I suppose that's something I'll have to take up with the administrators the next time I'm in Anchoril. Good day, Ambassador Kem Vafblan. Let's take a look at the lore for the Pristine Hat. While wearing this blue felt cap, you can understand the literal meaning of any words you hear at Lantana. Lantana is the official language of Lantan. It is also spoken in parts of the Nelanther Isles and Tither. You likewise understand writing in Lantana. It's written in Draconic script. You must be touching the surface on which the words appear, and it takes about 1 minute of reading per page of text. This reading is literal. It doesn't decode secret messages or translate idioms. Note that the ability to understand Gnomish allows you to understand its Lantana dialect, but not vice versa. This hat has no appreciable weight separate from your clothing. If you really want to sell it, the hat will fetch a price of 12 gold pieces. Monterey's gonna keep it. Cause it's stylish. But hey, it's actually magical. That's interesting. Finding nothing else useful, you decide to leave this little office. So we are going to go out of this area. We're going back to the northwest because there was that there's that gnome thing or whatever that has he was saying something. He kept saying something. The question is, where was it again? I believe if we go west to the north end, we'll head back there. So that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go west to the north of the north end. And this is the heavy curtain room. So we are able to understand, so we will go ahead and initiate that. The illusion is speaking Lantana, the language used on the island of Lantan. Lantana is the regional dialect of Gnomish, shared by the gnomes and humans of that nation. The illusion's speech welcomes you to the embassy's portal facilities. It describes a list of forbidden items that cannot go to Lantan, including invasive species of plants and creatures. It also forbids a long list of magic items and volatile alchemical compounds. Storage vaults are available through the doors to the west. For a small charge, you can keep personal items safe, or store forbidden items that you cannot take through the portal. Passage into the eastern hall is only for authorized personnel. Likewise, security features in the southern passage will react if you try to navigate them without the accompaniment of embassy personnel. The illusion further gives instructions for when you enter the portal room. At this, the illusion gestures to the double doors to the north. You are to check in with customs inspection and administration to the west of the portal launchways prior to queuing for the portal. So it looks like we need to go up to the north in order to get to the portal area, which is, I believe, where our objective is. You find yourself in an extra wide hall, about 20 feet across and 40 feet long. A double doorway stands to the south, and at the north end of the passage widens into an oddly shaped room with a pillar in its center. A brassy strip of metal crosses the floor halfway up the hall, connecting the two narrow alcoves on either side. A metal statue stands in each alcove, facing the hall. Two corpses lay sprawled across the floor next to the brassy stripe. The lingering odor of burnt flesh is a testament to the recentness of their demise. Let us examine the corpses first. The two corpses have been dead for less than a 10-day. They fell in positions that suggested they were simply walking past the brassy stripe on the ground. Several holes bore through both bodies, the flesh sheared by heat. Not a drop of blood has fallen in the dust. It is as though fiery lances shot through them, killing both instantly. These intruders were human males, dressed for this sort of misadventure. They wear masks that, once removed, show no unusual features. Both bodies have armor, though whatever caused these impressive injuries destroyed both suits. However, the rest of their gear looks useful. Alright, so we are going to take the embassy key for sure. That's here, although I don't know if we're going to have much use for it anymore. We don't need anything else, but they have a signet ring, 5 sacks, a miner's pick, a sledgehammer, 3 quivers, each containing 20 arrows, a short bow, and a war pick. We really don't need any of that. The embassy key is the most valuable thing for us. Let us examine the statues on the alcove. The two statues wear heavy aprons, and each has a smith's hammer tucked into the crook of one bent arm. The statues would be identical, their features all matching, but for the fact that one is a human and the other is a gnome. The plaque on the base of the human statue reads Gond, Nebelun, in common script. The one on the shorter gnome statue reads Nebelun, Gond, also written in common. The eyes of both statues glow with baleful red light. So, I believe what we're going to do, especially after examining the corpses, we're probably gonna back on out. Mainly because I don't think we have anything like the insignias that they've been hinting at. Let me check. The hat does not indicate that is an insignia, so I don't think that is going to save us from any of the traps that waylaid these two adventurers. So we're actually going to pass the double doors south and go back. I believe there was a room that we haven't been to yet. Yeah, we haven't been to... So in the curved room that has a northern passage and a southern passage that both go west, we haven't gone to the west-southern passage. So I want to go there first and explore that. You approach the iron door and find it to be of unusually sturdy design. It closely resembles the construction of the doorways in the deep catacombs beneath the House of the Homeless, near the hidden deep winter tombs. The resemblance is so strong that you can hardly think it is a coincidence. We do not have the entry door unlocked code. So, let's see. We can go southeast or west to the north end, which I believe will take us back into the area we just came from. If we go southeast, that'll take us to an area that we've already been to. So we actually can't really do anything here until we unlock that front door, I guess. So back in the 30 by 40 foot rubble room, we can go north, west, or south, which I believe will take us back the way we came. So why don't we go over to the west? You are in a rectangular room, 20 by 55 feet in dimension. Two glowing pillars bathe the entire room in a warm light. Secure vault doors line the walls, 3 each on the north and south walls and 1 on the western wall. They are large enough to step through if you can bypass their locks. Combination locks secure the vault doors. They might slow a would-be thief but couldn't stop one given time. You could try enough combinations to open any of the vaults. The vault door to the west is slightly different. Where the other doors have a combination lock, this one bears an ornate engraved plate without the numbered dials of the other locks. A set of double doors to the east swings on pin hinges, leading back to the room where you encounter the talking illusion. A pair of footprints mark the dusty floor here. They entered from the east, approached every door, then returned west. Let us examine the ornate plate on that one vault. I don't think we're going to really take the time to pick any of the locks. You approach the western vault door. At the door's center, you find an ornate plate with a row of circular depressions. The plate is a true work of art, carved with a complex mural of cogs and religious symbols surrounding the depressions. Near the bottom, you see the maker's mark, the words Guild of Silversmiths and Gilders, Waterdeep, engraved in common. We are not going to make that lore check. Each of the plate's depressions has a complex pattern within. The style of the patterns in these depressions makes you think you are looking at a type of lock. Inserting a signet ring might open it like a key. However, this is not merely a mechanical lock. The 6 depressions look as though designed to fit different signet rings, but you think it would be too simple to fabricate a replica that would fit. There must also be some accompanying magic to the device. Let us insert the Deep Winter seal. We'll see if that works. You slip the heavy signet into the first depression. The Deep Winter seal doesn't go in deeply enough to reach the patterns carved at the back, but the ring seems to fit snugly just the same. Even with this shallow insertion, you feel a tingle in your arm, and the door swings silently open, reacting to the deep winter blood you carry, not the ring. Ooh, spooky. You enter a 20 by 20 foot chamber lined with shelves. Most of the storage space is empty. Thin shreds of what were once metal containers now litter the floor. The shelf on the southern wall has cracks and black marks, as those struck by an explosive or a fiery spell. You can take any of the following items that you have not previously taken from this location. Oh, security insignias. We're taking those. Kind of makes me worried though, because there's 3 of them. Does that mean that they are one use only? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, sweet, but we got a potion of minor healing. I'll take that. Manacles, nah. Scroll tube, nah. No spears, and we are not going to use a shield. Actually, we'll take the spell scroll, I guess. Oh, it has hold person in it. And we'll probably just like give that to Monterey, let's be honest. Okay, so we have everything I think that we need. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to go back into that room. The one that has the, well, the obvious trap that basically killed those 2 adventurers. And I think we're just going to proceed to the north. We're going to keep going. And hopefully those insignias will actually, you know, help us out. You move toward the larger chamber to the north. If you or a companion possess a security insignia, sweet, we do, let's go there. You are in a cross-shaped room about 60 feet across. The stone pillar that began flickering when you entered can't seem to maintain consistent lighting. Its slow blinking casts bright light intermittently, punctuated by long moments of utter darkness. The northern and eastern ends of the room each contain a circular metal frame about 8 feet in diameter. A short set of low stairs leads up to each portal frame. A small dusty plaque stands on a post beside each frame. The western end of the cross-shaped room has 2 doors, each labeled with a plaque, and the southern end continues past a pair of alcoves toward a set of double doors. Let's see. We have choices and choices and choices. I think the obvious thing to do is just to go straight down the line. We're going to inspect the north portal first. You approach the portal in the north end of the room. An interconnected series of leaves, vines, and flowers, all made of dusty metal, form the frame, giving it the appearance of a circular garden. Several leaves are absent from along the right-hand side, leaving a conspicuously empty space. Inserting the leaves probably turns on the portal or controls something about its use. Unlike the portal you saw at the back of the House of the Homeless, this one lacks the opaque field of light that signifies its operational state. The wall behind the frame is clearly visible through its open area. A small plaque stands on a post beside the frame. Wiping away the dust reveals strings of draconic letters. And that is that's going to be in the Gnomish language, so we'll go ahead and read that real quick. The plaque here says Argent Gate, under which is written Master Gate Access, authorized use only, portal key required. So it seems like we need 2 things. We've read the invention diary, but we don't have the iron petal. So we're going to kind of leave for now. Wait a minute. Weren't there leaves around here? Can we just like take one of those? Like, didn't it say? Okay, so we have to find the leaves. Gotcha. It said that the leaves were missing. Okay, so let's go to the east. You approach the portal in the east end of the room. An interconnected collection of gears and mechanical gewgaws forms the frame. Unlike the portal you saw at the back of the House of the Homeless, this one lacks the opaque field of light that signifies its operational state. The wall behind the frame is clearly visible through its open area. There's more Gnomish letters, which we will read. The plaque here says, the Welcome Gate, under which is written, non-resident access between dawn and dusk, except from high sun to afternoon. Prepare to show portal pass and endorsements. So we can't do anything with that. So we'll inspect the western area. So you approach the set of doors in the western wall. You see no locking mechanism on either. They look like they will swing open if pushed. This one has a Gnomish language on it, so let's read that. The plaque on the right-hand door has one word, exit. The other plaque says, enter. Passport check, proof of residence, and gate pass. You are in a square room about 40 feet long on each side. Bright, warm light floods down the illuminated stones in the ceiling. You find the wreckage of several desks here, a row of them around the room's exterior. You can imagine a line of people entering one door and going around on a semicircle, visiting the administrators at each desk before leaving via the other door. A single door stands in the south wall. It looks sturdy, like hardened metal, with no handle, keyhole, or other means of opening. Let's examine the wreckage. The desks in this room are composed of metal and hardwood components, some pieces of which were more durable than others. In an old tin box, you find a collection of thin rectangular plates amongst the wreckage, each stamped with Portal Pass in multiple languages, including Common. These items have a look of officiousness to them, but they obviously lack value now, a century after the embassy's closure. Let us examine the doorway to the south. You approach the metal door, finding no handle or keyhole. It doesn't appear to have hinges or any other mechanism by which it might open or unlock. We don't have the event code Long Thin Vault. We are going to use the Pristine Hat to contemplate its strange attraction to this door. As you lean toward the door, you feel a strange resonance in the air. The Pristine Hat begins to vibrate and the door's illusory facade fades. Beneath is a simpler door, not the reinforced iron it previously seemed to be. The real door has a handle, making it easy to access the room beyond. We have the event code Long Thin Vault. You are in a thin room about as wide as a hallway and 30 feet deep. At the far end, you see a stack of old crates crumbling under the weight of time. You also find the shattered remains of a potion bottle, its glittery red liquid soaking into the dust on the ground. It looks like you broke the bottle when opening the door. Unless you previously visited this room, you have time to scrape most of the dusty red paste into your mouth, carefully to avoid the glass. Why not? It's actually a potion of healing, so 2d4 plus 2 hit points will actually put us back at full HP. Nice. We also have the heavy ledger that sits on the shelf, the one exactly matching what the Seeker's agent requested. Oh, sweet. That's also what we need. So it was very beneficial to come here. And there's iron petals, which we need for the portal. Finding nothing else of interest, you leave the storage room behind. And we are actually going to go all the way back into the portal area. And it is time to open the portal. So we have both items required to activate it. You insert the iron petal, placing it in a hole in one of the frame's many iron flowers. Several other petals are missing from that spot, but the portal reacts after you replace just one, thrumming to life. When you step back from the frame, you no longer see the wall behind it. A plane of deep blue light now covers the open area. As you watch, a circle of silver light appears in the middle of the portal and begins to spin. 8 silver strands unfold from that circle, stretching out to points along the frame. The strands thicken, eventually becoming petals in a silvery flower pattern before the whole light shows fades. You feel a wave of warm air rush out of the portal, carrying the sweet scent of rotting leaves and tropical flowers. As you stare and wonder, you hear a new sound from within the frame, a terrible sound, a whine like the grinding of metal gears, followed by the approach of heavy footfalls. You leap aside as a hulking shape bursts from the portal. It smashes into the flickering pillar behind you and careens away from it. A cloud of greedy dust falls from the ceiling, followed by the thump and crack of larger stones hitting the floor. The crab-like automaton tries to right itself, but it cannot. It falls to the ground with a resonating boom, raising a mighty cloud of dust. You wait to see if the creature will move again. When the dust finally settles, you approach and examine the thing. It is an engine of large-scale construction, one designed for drilling. Although crab-like in shape, the creature's arms end in spiked spindles instead of claws. One of the spindles spins with enough speed that you have no doubt could grind through the stone. As it rotates, the spindles throw sparks of a shower of rust flakes. The other spindle is unmoving, as though fused in place. Thick moss covers the joints of that arm, as well as the creature's back, enhancing its resemblance to a carapace crab. You are about to get closer when you see something moving under the moss. You see a mass of tiny, spider-like creatures moving inside the guts of the automaton, swarming through it. As the creatures turn their attention towards you. To be continued.